Let's do it. Get that pedal to the metal, baby. Let's get it in. Get it in. Today we are going to be talking about ICE. Going to be going to a few places where they haven't been authorized to go for a while. We are going to examine what is being said in the mainstream media. We are going to talk about what lawyers are saying, and let's get it in. Let's get it in, get it in, get it in. This is a very famous Instagram lawyer who's got a lot to say about it. Let's hear what she's got to say.
Has a long-standing policy not to go to protected areas to pick up or detain people, such as places of worships, hospitals, and schools. According to a source close to the incoming Trump administration, he plans on rescinding that policy, meaning ICE agents would be able to go to funerals, weddings, hospitals, churches.
Imagine getting picked up at the funeral. As if things ain't bad enough, right? Not laughing, but it's crazy.
Mosques, synagogues, and schools, and look for people who do not have legal
I think you might get a fight at that mosque, though.
status and place them into either detention or removal proceedings. While ICE agents already take into account where the person is at and the circumstances surrounding putting somebody into deportation or actually deporting that person. With the rescission of this long-standing policy, they will now have a lot of authority to go into these facilities and places and carry out what Trump is calling the largest mass deportation in American history.
Let's confirm it.
President-elect Trump reportedly ready to give ICE the green light to enforce mass deportations on his first day in office. NBC News reports the president-elect plans to drop restrictions on where the immigration officers can arrest immigrants. Advocacy groups already slamming the move to scrap a policy that's been in place since 2011. News Nation's Xavier Walton has more from Texas this morning. Xavier, how does this move benefit the president-elect's agenda?
Hey, Marky, good morning. Well, immigration officials that I'm talking to say, you know what, this will certainly help speed up President-elect Donald Trump's efforts with that mass deportation efforts when he takes office in about 39 days or so. But let's talk more about this long-standing policy. You mentioned this has been in place since 2011, but what it does is it restricts ICE agents from arresting undocumented people at churches, like we're at this morning, hospitals, even schools, without a supervisor signing off on it, so to speak. They're considered sensitive locations, almost like safe havens, and under the policy, even extenuating circumstances like, say, national security, terror threats, or the arrest.
You would almost have to racial profile for that, to be honest with you. You have to, unless you know that, unless somebody got tipped off to say that, oh, this person's going to the hospital, or this person's going to church, or this person's going to school. ICE just walking into a hospital and just picking up people. I don't know. I really can't see that happening, though.
Arrest of a dangerous felon would need to get proper approval. President-elect Trump reportedly plans to scrap this policy on his first day in office, so January 20th. Right now, Border Patrol says there are roughly 11 million undocumented immigrants in the U.S. Retired ICE Director Ron Vitello tells us, immigration officials have their work cut out for them, but this move could help.
It'll have an effect because the front line won't have to call Washington to carry out the priorities of taking criminals who are also in the country illegally off the street. So it'll have that impact. They'll be able, their workflow just got easier, or will get easier, January 20th. So that it'll have that level of impact.
So on the flip side, you have organizations like the ACLU and Human Rights Watch that just certainly, they disagree and already are coming up with some ripple effects, if you will, predicting them from once these protections go away.
What we'll probably see is a decline of students going to school or people seeking emergency services in a hospital.
Hopefully we have a decline of people in front of Home Depot so I can actually get a parking space.
Which could be very.
No, real talk though, because every time I try to go to Home Depot, I'm there just to pick up some stuff to, to get some projects done. I can't get a parking space because I got a gang of people with a gang of trucks that's just lounging out and sitting there and is taking up all the parking. Very, very frustrating. But hopefully after January that gets resolved.
Detrimental for our community.
And we're at a church this morning, and over the years, you know what? There have been some reports of church leaders who have housed migrants that have been harassed. They worry that that'll only get worse with this starting come January 20th. And also should mention, on the contrary, some ICE agents certainly believe that this will remove what has been an unnecessary hurdle that's been in place since really 2011, Marky.
Xavier Walton, thank you for that update this morning, live from Texas. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to join.
Interesting. Wonder how it's going to play out, man. January 20th is going to be a very, very interesting day. Very interesting day for, a lot of people who are, I don't think there's going to be much of a difference here in Los Angeles because it's so congested. But I think definitely in the South, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, Florida, red states, to where they're even saying that if you're in a car with somebody who's undocumented, they're going to come pick you up. I think there you'll really see some traction. But here in Los Angeles, I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's going to be quite difficult, because for one, they don't have the manpower to collect all those people. I think that the only way they'll be able to, actually have some traction here is remittances. People sending money. So if you're sending money, back to, your country, that's probably the only way they're going to be stopping. Or if you're selling roses on the side of the road, or if you're making food on the side of the road, or if you're loitering, in front of Home Depot, because there you got probable cause. I think that'll be the only way they'll be able to get a handle on this. But, what say you? Maybe other people think different. Maybe, Tom Homan's going to do what he says when he says he's going to bring, twice the amount of ICE agents to blue, states and cities. And he's also threatening to prosecute them. So we'll see if they actually live up to their word. That is to be determined. But that's this episode. We'll see you in the next one, and we'll keep you posted.